Hello, good evening. You're all still here. I've got two challenges. The first challenge is 18 minutes and the second challenge is this. Usually I walk around all the time, so people that know me wouldn't understand or not going to understand that I am not moving around. I want to talk to you about this strange formula. This strange formula says connect to many and engage individuals. And that, for me, is the biggest challenge for every company, because I usually talk to companies and I usually talk to managers. And managers are facing new challenges. And this is the biggest challenge. How the heck are you going to connect to many people and at the same time give each individual the feeling that you engage one-on-one with them? And that is new. In the past, you had to make a choice, and now you can make the combination. And as already was announced, this was my week this week. So I'm over here, I'm in Mechelen right now, so this must be Friday evening. And earlier this week, I was in Miami, and this is what I more or less saw out of my hotel room. I don't want to make you jealous, but people were surfing the waves. The first day not, because there wasn't enough wind, but the second day, people were surfing. And I thought, I need a picture, because I only have 18 minutes, so I need a couple of very strong pictures. So I'm going to use that picture of somebody surfing the waves. And in the hotel lobby, I found this. They told me that there was a serious tsunami warning earlier this year. On February the 6th of this year, there was a tsunami warning, and they already evacuated the first floor. And then the tsunami warning seemed to be fake, like many news in the States for the moment, but this was fake news. But I also used the picture of a tsunami. And the picture of a tsunami made me think about this guy. This is Jamie Dimon. Does anybody know Jamie Dimon? Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, big American bank. And in May 2015, he wrote a letter to his shareholders saying, I lay awake at night. And he laid awake at night because of what he called a digital tsunami. And that's why the tsunami made me think of Jamie Dimon. The interesting part of that letter is that he said, we as a bank have underestimated three major elements. The first element is we've underestimated the impact of digitization on society. We thought for far too long that digitization was just a layer on top of the old society. But it is changing the whole society. And as such, there is a new customer. And that new customer has evolved very fast. And we, here as a bank, we've been far too obsessed by our own internal processes, and we've forgotten about the customer. And the customer has evolved so much that there is a gap between the customer and us. And it's in that gap that the digital tsunami can take my beach. And the third and the most important reason is the speed of change. He said, I've underestimated the speed of change. I thought we had plenty of time. I thought we had time until 2040, 2045, 2050. And all of a sudden, that digital tsunami is there right now. I like to compare it with this overcrowded beach in Miami. Just imagine that your business model is putting beach chairs on this beach. That is your business model. So in the morning, what do? You try to wake up a little bit earlier than your competition, then you can steal some market share. And for the rest of the day, you just improve your business model, because that's the only thing you can do. So smaller chairs, put them closer together, buy them in China because they're cheaper, color them in fancy colors, that's what you do. And then there's a tsunami on the way. And what happens before the tsunami hits your shore? Your beach gets wider. And what is your brain going to tell you to do? Your brain is going to tell you, wow, opportunity. Let's put more beach chairs on the beach, because brains are trained to think in patterns. That's what your brain is going to tell you to do. And your brain is also going to deny the impact of that tsunami. Your brain is going to tell you it is not going to be that big. The impact is not going to be that huge. But you're wrong. We're not living in a changing world. We're living in a changed world. The world has flipped, and the world has flipped seriously. And we could have seen it happen. We could have seen that we must unlearn what we've always thought was true. And one of the things that we thought was true, that we had to make a choice between connecting to many or engaging individuals. Either as a company, you could have many customers, but then you could not be one-on-one with them. Or you had little customers, and then you could build a personal relationship. But you couldn't combine the two. But now, in this new area, you can combine the two. I mean, there's even more. You can use the two to make the one stronger and the other stronger. It is multiplying each other. It's even exponentially growing each other. Connect to many, engage individuals. Let's start with engaging individuals. What is engaging individuals? That's the good old one-on-one relationship between me and, for instance, that Marta that runs a bookshop. When I go there, I have a one-on-one conversation with her. We transmit data. I'm the sender, she's the receiver, and then she becomes the sender and I become the receiver. And we have a good old one-on-one relationship. The only problem for companies is you cannot scale this. If you want to try to scale this, you need many, many people, because you need as many people as you have customers. And no company can afford that. So what companies are looking for is that new stuff. And that new stuff is, let's connect to many and let's forget that we have to engage individuals, because connecting to many is more important for bigger companies than engaging individuals. And so we discovered mass communication. And we called it communication, but in fact it is broadcasting. We were sending and only sending. We discovered radio, and we discovered newspapers and magazines in 1900. We discovered the radio in 1930. We discovered the television in 1950. We discovered the internet in 1993. And we started broadcasting. And we became very good in broadcasting. But let's face it, broadcasting is like carpet bombing. The more you carpet bomb, the more victims you make, so the more customers you have. And the more customers you have, the more marketing budget you have, the more you can do carpet bombing, and the more customers you have. So these were the times when the big companies grew bigger. This is the area in which the Coca-Colas and the Unilevers and the Procter & Gamble's grew bigger and bigger. And that we believed that there was happiness in a bottle, and that we believed that the 7th blade on a Gillette was better than 6 blades, was better than 5 blades. We were so good in mass communication. But let's face it, us, the customers, we were never heard. We could only receive, but we could not talk back. And then this was the area of the flowers and the bees. Companies considered themselves as a flower. And marketing departments were there to make the flower look attractive. Read all the marketing books over the last 100 years, that's what companies were doing. Companies were trying to make the flower attractive to attract as many bees as possible. But that came to an end. There was a fast wave. Who is not on the internet now? Not on the internet. Look, everybody's on the internet. I'm going to ask you a second question. Take your smartphones. You can take your smartphones now. Take them. And take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, because this takes courage, and pass your smartphone to your neighbor. You don't like to do that, do you? It feels like passing your dirty underwear. There are two major things that have happened. Look what happens. Okay. First of all, the internet. Remember this. Do you remember this? Going on the internet. Now you are on the internet, you went on the internet, and when somebody had to download a document, that took 2 hours, and the rest of your family could not communicate with the rest of the outside world. So, and then this guy came.
iPhone is like having your life in your pocket.
I'm going to repeat it
It's
once.
the ultimate digital device. So what should we price it at?
So what Steve Jobs said, iPhone is like having your life in your pocket. And he was completely right. So we got the internet, we got the iPhone in our pocket, we were given the tools. We were given the tools, and what did we do as a customer? We said, okay, now we have the tools. Dear companies, now we become the empowered customer. We become the center of the universe. You're no longer the flower, I'm the flower. And you companies are the bees. You companies have to come to me with the right product, with the right service, with the right solutions, at the right moments, using the right channels, or you don't come in. I swipe you away and I go for another company. So there's a major switch in between one-to-many, one company sending to many customers, and now one customer wanting many companies to come to him and to make him the center of the universe. And companies and customers no longer believe companies, and customers do believe each other. Peer-to-peer communication has become far more important than mass communication. And that's a major switch. And then this is the picture of 2016. Because you see two phenomena here. The first is people have put themselves in the center of the universe. Customer centricity is no longer an option. We have put ourselves in the center. But the second thing that you see is that people share it in their social media. So we've become the sharing economy. So we moved from 2.0, the middleman, the company in the middle, to 3.0. Every customer is the center of the universe. In no time to a network society in which everybody and every company is just a dot in the network. And no dot is more important than the other. There is no leader, there's no follower. Everybody is a leader and everybody is a follower. It's blockchain. Blockchain was not invented. Blockchain is a result of an evolving society driven by technology. That is a matter of fact. But this means that this are the customers for the moment. The customers is this flock of birds. They're all connected to each other. There is no follower, there is no leader, and every bird is a follower and a leader at the same time. And it's completely unpredictable. So that becomes very difficult for companies. And the only answer that they have is to be close to every single bird. So they need to connect to all the birds, to all the customers, and make every customer important. So they have no other option. What they have to realize, and what everybody has to realize, it's no longer about product, services, or solutions, it is about sex. Every company is in the sex industry, meaning customer experience. And what is a good customer experience? It is knowing the customer expectation and do something more. So it all starts with how do I get to know customer expectations? And there is a world war going on over our data. Why do companies fight for our data? Because they need to know our data to need to know our customer expectations. And if you have that device in your hand, every move that you make, every breath that you take is delivering data. That's what this is. This is not a tool, this is a data mining machine. And you are the data miners. And if you don't use the machine in the future, we will have machines that we talk to and that listen to what we do all the time. So collecting data is the new normal. And why do companies collect data? They collect data to build algorithms. Algorithms are just processes, self-running processes that make companies' life easier. And one of the things that companies want to do is to be able to scale sex, to give your individual customer experience. And by growing the data and by growing the artificial intelligence that runs it, we get closer and closer to what I call segments of one, that we can make a personalized message to each and every one of you. That's what companies are doing data mining for, and that's why they build algorithms, to be able to connect to many and at the same time engage individuals. So it's very simple. The more customers you have, the more data you get. The more data you get, the better your algorithms get. And if the better your algorithms get, the more customers you can have. And it's a self-fulfilling, it's a loop, and it's an exponential loop. And that's why companies are getting your data. So the next big thing is not the internet. It's not the mobile. The next big thing is this combination. The next big thing is a combination of big data, artificial intelligence, and robotization. When we're going to be in 2035, and in 2035 we're going to look back at 2018, we're going to look back at exactly the same way as we now look at the internet. When the internet came in our lives in 1993, that was only in 1993, I didn't understand shit about what the internet was going to be. But I don't understand it, but I use it. And it's exactly the same with those three things. When we're going to look back in 2035, we're going to know in 2018 we knew that this was the little new wave. And let's be brave. That's what I say to business managers. Take your surf planks and go and find that wave. Find that wave, because the wave for the moment is still small. And you have a choice. In 2035, you can be on the beach, and then the wave comes, and then you're doomed. But when the wave comes, and you're on the wave, surfing on the wave, then you can conquer the beach. And that's the ultimate choice. So companies and business leaders should be aware that they have to dare to serve that new wave of big data, artificial intelligence, and robotization. Think like Jeff Bezos in 1996, Amazon. Think like Bol.com. Think like Coolblue in 1999. Think like Booking.com, 1995. And look at the new area. Look at the new opportunities. Look at it as an open market with no specialists yet, with a lot of low-hanging fruit and limited entry costs. When Jeff Bezos started Amazon, all he needed was a computer and an internet connection, and he could conquer the world. That's how we should look at that new wave of the new big thing. So, as a keynote speaker, my subject is the day after tomorrow. Why is it the day after tomorrow? Because you have to be able not to design your tomorrow starting from today. Because then you stay on the beach. You will stay putting beach chairs on the beach, because that's what you do every day. And you're going to do it better tomorrow. No, start by what is my potential business model in the future, and start tomorrow as the first step towards that future. And then your perspective is completely different. And your perspective is going to be, how do I get there? How do I, as a company, whether you are a small company or a big company, how do I get there? To be able to connect to many and engage individuals at the same time. How do I put the customer in the center of my universe and do that for many customers? And that can only be done by technology, that can only be done by big data, artificial intelligence, and part of that, robotization. And robotization is just automating a number of your processes. Thank you very much.